What's up, guys? What's up? This your boy Malcolm. I know I've been missing in action for a while, but unfortunately, I came down with a cold. And yeah, coming down with the cold wasn't fun. Um, I got caught up on some homework in my downtime. I was falling behind on some of my schoolwork, but I got caught up. And yeah, I'm doing good. Everything seems to be back on track as far as schoolwork goes. Um, I got a new class coming up later this I think later this week. Well, no, not later this week. I have my first class coming up later this week on Friday. I just signed up for a new online course. um, Basically it's on composite materials. um, for anyone that don't know, it's like Kevlar, the vests and stuff that they use for tactical vest or the army. Some of the Kevlar vests that they have in the army or for police. Outside of that, there's let me see, carbon fiber. Carbon fiber is another composite material. I'm still getting used to the class material, but basically it goes into everything that's non-metallic, that's durable and resistant. Mm. And joint almost went out. But yeah, tonight we're just gonna do a quick wrap up of the events that happened over the weekend. Shout out to everybody tuning in. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Um, Tomorrow, going forward, anybody getting up for work tomorrow, I know I am. But yeah, I got a phone call. Whoop. Yo, what's up? All right, give me 1 second. No, I'm gonna screenshot it. Well, text it. Yeah, basically. 1 second. I swear, when I'm chilling, it ain't nothing. Don't nobody bother me. As soon as I get online or go live to do a podcast, everybody has to call me. Swear. Uh, uh, Sorry for the distraction, guys. I got to go ahead and get this out of the way. I swear, everybody needs to get their own Netflix account. But all right, enough distractions. Once again, shout out to everybody tuning in. Let's get back to the story. So as the headlines you read, it was kind of for clickbait, but the main story comes out of this article I read for the well, it's from the Guardian, but it's based in Australia. Now, just because it's based in Australia doesn't mean that there's some real stuff that we can't, learn from this. But to sum it all up, basically, with this, I guess you could say global warming or drastic changes in the weather has caused certain food prices to increase more than others and is affecting the overall yield of certain crops and farmers and the industrial farms are as well are starting to feel some of that pressure. Uh, so once again, this is from the Guardian. If you want to go ahead and read up on the article itself, just type in the Guardian food prices, and this should pop up. It's the most recent article. I was just after I work out, I usually like to read an article or two after my post workout smoke. And no, I don't believe in a pre workout smoke. Where you smoke before you work out, you're more likely to be lazy and more lackadaisical, not really in the mood to work out. But yeah, the post workout smoke is always the best. But wilting wheat, first crop on the list that's kind of taking the brunt of this heat wave that the whole world is going through, I guess, at this time. Oh, excuse me, guys. 1 second. Sorry about that. I had to turn my mic up. Try and mute myself when I do that. But basically, we got wilting wheat. Prices of wheat, one of the world's major staples, spiked last month in reaction to Russian missile strikes on Ukrainian ports after a decision by the Kremlin to pull out of the Black Sea grain deal that had allowed agricultural exports. All right, so we got Russia pulling out of the wheat deal. So wheat supply is going to take a hit. Prices then retraced and didn't jump even as tensions escalated, with Russia firing on a cargo vessel. Man, they ain't playing at the Kremlin. They want to start some shit. All right. Part of the market's relaxed approach is tied to a large regional harvest. Russia is the world's biggest wheat exporter and has been expanding its planting area, and expectations that a new safe passage trade deal with Ukraine will be reached. I don't know about that. There might not, yeah, there might not be a deal. Who knows? The Rabble, Rabble, Rabobank grains analyst Dennis. I'm going to butcher the name, but please forgive me in advance. Dennis Vosnesensky. Vosnesensky. I tried. Said the market optimism didn't leave much room for bad news, with any market shock likely to push grain prices higher. When we start moving beyond the Black Sea harvest period, the market will react to any strong negative force factors. Vosnesensky, who recently visited major grain growing areas in Australia, said many regions are at risk of wheat production downgrade this season as conditions turn dire. Heat is also wilting Canada's grain production forecast, while prolonged heat and drought in the U.S. will leave grain growing states like Kansas with one of its smallest harvests on record. Yeah, it's crazy. Global warming, what can I say? That's global warming at its biggest. Rice export ban. So going forward, rice and wheat, those are the two major ones they're focusing on here. Increasingly erratic weather is having a noticeable impact on one of the world's other big staples, rice. With monsoons depleting harvests in India and pushing prices higher, in response, the Indian government has banned exports of some rice types, mirroring policies governments implemented when the pandemic struck and after Russia invaded Ukraine. My apologies. I have a cat in here and he just does not want to sit still. Shadow. Relax. All right, back to what I was saying. While the bans can ease food prices in their home country, when it comes at the expense of others relying on those imported produce, or I'm sorry, when it comes to the expense of those relying on imported produce. While the bans can, oh, I was about to repeat myself, apologize. Governments are becoming more trigger happy at putting restraints on exports, says Bosnetsky. It is an increasing the it is increasing the risk of prices going higher. Damn. Oh Lord. This is the big one. India is the world's largest rice exporter. Okay, I'm gonna admit now, I thought it was China. Just saying, I thought it was China. Accounting for 40% of global rice exports, according to the International Food Policy Research Institute. The institute believes that the latest ban poses risk of higher global prices and food insecurity. There are more than 60 export restrictions currently in place on food, feed, and fertilizers among the member nations of the World Trade Organization. Damn, I did not know that. The largest rice exporter is India. I'm, I'm gonna be honest. I thought it was, I thought it was, yeah, China. Most definitely China. Even for a moment, I considered like, was there something else I had? Nah, China. It's been China all the way. Even as a kid, like I always thought China or Japan. One of the well, nah, Japan doesn't have the size. But yeah, China all the way. I've always thought so. Oh, excuse me, guys. Sorry about that, guys. I had another call come in. Just you know how it is when you're busy. Everyone has to call you. If anyone asks, nah, I'm not sipping tea tonight. Just having a little kickback. I love how the green screen is here, so it kind of like forces whenever I pull something in, it just appears out of like nothingness. That's kind of cool. I don't like the clipping that it shows when I'm like moving around, but hey, I'm still new to this. I'll get better in time. But let me start rambling. Let me stop rambling about this green screen of mine. And back to what I was saying. So yeah, India is going to be cutting back on rice exports. They're the world's largest exporter of rice, and there are currently more than 60 export restrictions in place on food, feed, and fertilizers among the member nations of the World Trade Organization. Actually, let me look that up if possible. Let me see. I can't find anything. I was gonna try and find more in-depth list of those 60 export restriction, but dang, bro, that's that's pretty close. Yeah, that was crazy. Inflation has cooled in Australia to 6%, even as food prices remain steep, currently rising by 7.5% a year, according to the most recent data. The dairy is leading the price rise, up by more than 15%, while breads and cereals are increasing at an annual rate of more than 11%. The prices are indicative of what shoppers pay at the checkout, given the Bureau of Statistics uses scanner data from major supermarkets to calculate price changes. The figures show that even when overall inflation falls, it masks the persistent pain of households, especially those with less income who typically spend a larger share of their budget on necessities. Hell yeah. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I try my hardest not to spend $100 at the grocery store because yeah, there's just so much other stuff going on. Truck repairs, certain tools that I might want to buy later on. Y'all know I game, so I try to budget in a game or two if I want to try something new. I'm trying to, like the video I made. Yeah, it's about a month ago. Like the video I made a month ago, why you're broke. Yeah, I'm trying to budget. All the advice I gave in the video, I'm doing it myself, guys. I'm literally living by my word here. It's a struggle, but it's the best way to live by your word. But yeah, guys, 7.5% a year is that's pretty crazy because I think in the U.S. where were we at? I think from like let me look that up from. So go ahead and Google that. Boom. And I know, don't shoot me. Google isn't the ultimate reference, but it's a good way to pick up multiple. And it's what Government Accountability Officer.gov. Seems legit. 11%. Last year, food went up. Okay, while food prices generally increased about 2% in prior years. Uh, and when they say 2% in prior years, they mean like 2% a year. They increased about 11% from 2021 to 2022. Let me shrink this down a little bit, see if it's easier to see. Bam. Yeah, make it a little easier to see. Wow, that's crazy. Damn. Last time I looked, let me see if I can find that info. So on average, damn. That's pretty. That's. I was just saying, damn, because basically last year we had a double-digit increase. So this year we're on point for probably another double-digit increase. I'm not um I'm not an economist. Lord knows I wish I got paid the money they do to like go on TV and show off in their fancy suits. That would be nice. But last time I was looking at it, if it was 11%, that means we probably are somewhere. mm, Damn. Let me see. Okay, yeah, here we go. So from 11%. So with the average of 2% a year, and I just said we have 11% from the 2021. Now I know we're gonna have higher inflation than just a 2% average, but just with that alone, for the past 2 years between 2021 up to 2023, we would have had like 13% increase in food prices. Now I know it's going to be more than that, so let me just double that 2% average, make it like four. So we'll probably go up to, let me go up one more, maybe five. So in the past 2 years, we went up about roughly 16% in food prices. And they're expecting it to go up more, especially if this weather stuff continues. Grain, wheat, and all that stuff starts to wilt and dry up because sun and all this hot weather. And I don't think it's hot. It's like 82 degrees outside right now. Well, I mean, it's in Fort Pierce. So wherever else, if you negative 2 degrees, I don't want to hear. But Malcolm, it's negative. Listen, you in frozen hell. I don't know what you're doing up there in negative 2 degree weather, but hey, stay warm. So yeah, guys, for the average, we're up. I'd say about 16% over the past few years for food price increases. Um, the current inflation for the past 2 years has been roughly 11.5%. So yeah, if we're gonna hit 16%, we beat them out by about five. Yeah, that's right. 11, 16 minus 11, 5. Yeah, we beat them up by 5% roughly in terms of inflation. Now, I can't speak for the rest of the year. That's just currently. That's why I use the title. It's like clickbait. But yeah, to to my people out there, it's time to start clipping them coupons because the food ain't gonna get any cheaper. And like I was saying earlier, I try my best not to spend over $100 grocery shopping, but sometimes it you can't help it. Just the essentials you don't think of until boom, you go up there and you're like, damn, I don't have no more sugar. And me, I use brown sugar, and that's already $1 and some change more. I try to eat more organic stuff and try and stay eat higher quality foods. Something better for my health, and that stuff is not cheap. Organic this, uncured meats. Um, I try to go with, well, I mean, even the raw fruits, the apples and stuff. I think they've gone up like 12, maybe 8 cents a pound now. Everything's going up. But let me not digress too much. One thing on to the next one, as they would say. Guys, bring you some good news from the real deal. I know this one's like a little bit off. Shoot, it's not one of those more rep. Let me not say they're unreputable, but this is one of those more third-party news reference sources. I just got it to go with the one of the headlines I had coming up because home sales are currently down roughly 16%. Or that's an average across the nation. But I wanted to pull some info for down here in South Florida because I live in South Florida. But basically, single family home sales declined 16% to 1,717 closings, while condo sales dropped nearly 32% to 2,147 sales. The median price for single family homes rose 6.7% to 670,000. For condos, it grew only 1.7% to 442 and 500,000. Well, yeah, I could see that happening, especially after buildings in Miami collapsed. Yeah, them condos aren't going to appreciate as much as the houses. Definitely not. But damn, in terms of single family homes, we hit right on with the national average. And yeah, I'm always going to use an average. I don't have time to like get into the deep research. My life is hell enough. I got enough going on. So I usually shoot for the average when I'm going listening to my AirPods, working out, or when I'm at work. I try and jot down the averages and get the info. I tweak them a bit to probably about one or two points. So like if I get an average of 10%, I go up about one to like 11, 12 sometimes, depending on what it is, just for, I guess you would say future projections, because the stuff they give us in the news is sometimes skewed depending on the methodology they use to get the research. Because they'll say one thing, but when you go to, you know, they'll say one thing about food prices, but when you go to the store, you'd be like, nah, cuz, this ain't what it is. Because it ain't what it is. Yeah, that's that's a funny way to look at it. But inventory for single family homes fell 11.5% to 1,656. Condos increased 8.4%, 2,880 listings. Well, hey, well, for the single guys, you know, a condo might be cheaper than a single family home for you, and it's still a flex. You get the balcony, you get the, depending on where you stay, you get the ocean view or a nice view of the city, wherever you live. Just make sure they keep up with that maintenance. Just make sure they keep up with it. Because, yeah, oh, I would hate to imagine someone like sleeping. Yeah, I think in one of the buildings that collapsed in Miami, one of the guys did that. He literally woke up and half his room was gone, and yeah, that was crazy. Residential sales on the barrier islands of Miami Beach, Bell Harbor, Harbor Islands, Fish Island, Golden Beach, Indian Creek, Key Biscayne are down 44. Yeah, damn. See, this is what I hate about Miami. One part of Florida is comprised of, well, I guess I can't blame Miami. Most of the big cities are like that. You guys know the main hub, the main city is right in the center, but around it is a million other like subdivisions or sub communities. they want to call them, like Miami-Dade, Opelika, Carol City. They got to chop it up. You know, and really, it's just I don't mean to be a conspiracy theorist here, but in my opinion, the only reason they chop it up like that is to divide people among like segregated lines. It's basically communal segregation because certain people will migrate over here to this area, other people will migrate over here to this area. It's basically another way of segregating people. It's I get class segregation, middle class, lower class. You know, that's why if you notice, all these subdivisions are basically becoming the new middle class like projects. You got the projects for the poor, you got the subdivision for the middle class, and then I guess the upper class just live in their mansions or estates or ranches or whatever. That's basically what it is. But yeah, dude, God, let me try again because this is a lot of shit to say. I got tongue tied. Miami Beach, Bale Harbor, Bay Harbor Islands, Fisher Island, Golden Beach, Indian Creek, Key Biscayne, North Bay Village, Sunny Isles Beach, and Surfside totaled 1,043 closings in the second quarter, down 44% annually. Single family home sales dropped 36% year over year and 90 with just 96 closings. Condo sales declined 44% to 947. Hell fucking yeah. Y'all got fucking buildings collapsing. Excuse my language if there are children watching. I know I curse a lot, but yeah, I just had to get that out. Mm. Shout out to Patron. But yeah, guys, that's fucking. Oh, I'm cursing again. Sorry to the children. But yeah, guys, that's crazy. I I couldn't even imagine. And Miami's expensive too, especially now with everything going up. Yeah, you making that money. You live in Miami, you better be making that money. Otherwise, you might as well get up out of there. Because, or if you got family, I'm sorry, if you got like a strong like family set over there, then okay, Miami's bearable. That's I think that's the true way to live in the big city if you're going to live there. Like yeah, like the like how the Italians, the Jamaicans, the Chinese, the you guys get it. That's why you got Jamaica Queens, Chinatown, Little Italy. They group up together and form these like family, multi-generational homes where you got, grandma, grandpa, mom, dad, and the kids all in the home. It's a cramped way to live, but when you guys can all pitch in together, it's a good way to secure a larger sized home or a more decent sized home and, just work out a living situation. A lot of people convert the garages into a workspace or living space slash workspace, depending on who you got living there, you know. But yeah, it's, it's good. It's good to see things slow down a little bit. I know this whole home sales thing has been hot for like the past 3 years. No offense to any friends or real estate agent friends. Let me see the real estate guys, the house flippers, the scammers. Unfortunately, because I know I got like an old classmate or two that's a scammer. Y'all feel me? We all got that one or two classmates from back in the day that ended up being scammers. I ain't putting nobody on blast, but yeah, I see you scamming. I see you. I ain't the only one either. But shout out to y'all. Hope y'all getting that money on while it lasts. You know, hey, be smart with the money because you know it might be there might be a drought for a little minute, but the housing market's gonna bounce back. It always does. It went out back, in like 2008, 2007, but it bounced back a couple years later. So yeah, keep hustling. What's next on? Let me see what we got. Evergrande files Chapter 15 bankruptcy. For y'all that don't know, Evergrande is I mean, oh, these pop ups. Oh, they got a video, but I got this from Reuters. Let me just drop down to the bullet points, so easier for me to zoom through. But yeah, Evergrande seeks protection from creditors as part of a debt restructuring. Evergrande to meet creditors later this month for restructuring. Financial markets hit by China woes. Asia shares face. No, I'm sorry, I'm reading these like weird. See, this is what I hate about Reuters and like Wall Street Journal. They try to cram so much into like a small compressed line. It's like, dude, just add one or two more words and you make it so much easier to read. But basically, the financial markets took a hit from this pretty badly. Asia shares of Asian companies in the Asian markets facing like a third week of losses. China set out to cut lending rates on Monday to support property sector. Yeah, that's all y'all really can do right now. I think they lost about 81 billion over the past 2 years. So yeah, at this point, China's definitely cutting rates, which um, I mean, they got to do it to help, balance the loss. But I know it's going to be bad for Africa and a lot of the third world countries because once China comes knocking, you know, hi, would you like some money? They're going to go for it. And with China, they always got an ulterior motive. Everyone does. I'm not saying it's bad. Some people have good ulterior motives. Like when a homeless man, asks me for money for food and I just got, two McChicken from McDonald's, I'm gonna fall back to my truck. He may think I got $1, but my ulterior motive is I got these two McChickens for you. Because I ain't finna let you just get my money and go try and get some crack or whatever. You ain't finna get no dope money from me. But boom, here you go, two McChickens. Have a good day. Less sinister ulterior motive, you could say. But yeah, with China, they usually go at the third world countries that got a lot of mineral resources or agricultural resources because they got a huge population. They got to feed them people. You know, whenever people are financially broken, starving, or facing mass disease or death, there are any of those three things can cause an uprising. So yeah, China got to feed them people, and especially, and the reason why I say in Africa now is because unfortunately, a number of countries, I think the northern part of Ethiopia and the no- yeah, the northern part of Ethiopia, uh, and I believe a handful of other countries. I can't name them all off the top of my head. There's a lot of countries in Africa, by the way. So to get off my back, um, yeah, there's a couple droughts and famines going on in Africa right now. So those countries will definitely jump at the money because they need it to help support people. They need food. So it's people be like, Malcolm, why you always gotta relight your joint? Because when you pack the joint right, when you stop hitting it, it's supposed to go out. It's supposed to. Think of it like a cigar. If you don't puff on it enough, it goes out. That's how you know it's right. When it goes out after you stop hitting it, you got it right. If it just keeps burning and burning and burning away, well, you might have it near a wind source, by the way. Like if you got a fan on, that fan might just be keeping it on for you. But let me get it. Embattled developer China Evergrande Group. That's some it's a ticker symbol for the I think what is it, Hang Seng, or I forget what the Chinese exchange is called, but all the other foreign countries have their own stock exchanges. I think they've been getting their asses kicked. Let me pull that up on my tablet. Let's see. Yeah, the stock market ended last week pretty mixed. The energy sector has been performing pretty well because, as all y'all know, gas prices been going up. But let me knock this one out. Embattled developer China Evergrande has filed for U.S. bankruptcy protection as part of one of the, as a part of one of the world's biggest debt restructurings as anxiety grows over China's worsening property crisis and its impact on the weakening economy. Uh, for y'all that don't know how bad it is in China, there's a well, I mean, I know some people don't like to watch Vice because they've been, attacked and proven kind of facetious and over dramatizing certain elements of the news media. But if you go back at some of their video logs, I think it was Ghost Cities of China. Yeah, that's what it is. They do have a lot of empty infrastructure sitting there, and it's sitting there still. I mean, it was smart for them to pre-build certain infrastructure. I give it to them, but yeah, they, they they got a lot of property on the books, and because it's a single government and communist party, that pretty much the government got all that on the books, and they need to do something with it. Uh, China unexpectedly lowered several key interest rates earlier this week in a bid to shore up struggling activity as it is expected to cut prime loan rates on Monday. But analysts say moves so far have been too little too late, with much more forceful measures needed to stem the economy's downward spiral. Shoot, everybody's going through it. China, Russia. About to say, please tell me somebody ain't calling me again. Mm, mm. Man, shout out to my cousin Jay. I just my phone just gave me a notification. He followed me on YouTube. Shout out to the family always supports you. You may fight amongst each other, but hey, they are going to be there to support you when you need them. Let's see what. That's getting too far. Go to the next slide. Going into. Yeah, to Evergrande bankruptcy. What fires? All right, moving on to the next story.
I'm
Oh, refresh. All right, start from here. It's been over a week since wildfires ravaged Maui, decimating historic Lahaina town and becoming the deadliest wildfire in the U.S. in over 100 years. The death toll stands at more than 100, and many more fear that there are more dead to be found. With at least 1,000 people still accounted for, recovery teams are continuing to search for the ruins of the Lahaina remains. Search Lahaina for remains. I'm sorry, that was the the name of the town kind of is like a feminine name, so I read that wrong. Excuse me, I'm a little dyslexic. Many questions have been raised about the deadly fire, among them what caused the blaze, and could more have been done ahead of time? Let's take a moment of silence for the people of Maui. Now, in my personal opinion, I don't know what it really was. I've seen in a few news stories that they said it could have been a power line arcing out and striking a tree. They have some video footage of that. Another person said there was a down power line that caught on to some grass. Um, another, another one was I hear it was the human element. I think it, just to call out my age here. Um, I used to remember those Smokey the Bear, you can prevent wildfires commercials. So basically, humans account for a large sum of wildfire starts. It's never intentional, usually just a fire that's put out.
not put out properly and it's still going and can grow larger and catch other things more fire. And then you have other things like extreme droughts or dry seasons where you know you somebody going down the road could flick a cigarette on a nice patch of just dead grass or dead weeds just hurled over, dried, brittle, ready to catch fire, and or like sawdust or wood chips, plastics. There's because I remember I worked at a PVC factory, and one of the things we could not have was a lighter because all that stuff was flammable. The smallest, I remember people had to go hide in their trucks or vehicles and try to smoke a cigarette. It was that bad. But yeah, man, my heart goes out to the people of Maui. Sad, man. Sad. Uh, I heard a lot of people are jumping to the water to try to save themselves from the fire. One dude said the ground was so hot he burnt his feet just trying to walk on the ground. That was that's some stuff, man. I can't. mm, I can't imagine having to go through it, especially here in Florida, because well, we're by the water, but let's be real, y'all. If there was a wildfire that broke out in some parts of town, yeah, we got too much trees, and there's so much stuff to be dry and catch a fire. Um, and then because it's Florida, if there is a wildfire, here comes the rain for 5 minutes, and then it stops, and it's like, really, why'd you rain for 5 minutes? You couldn't rain for 30 minutes, help a nigga out, catch some of this fire. But yeah, man, my heart's going out to the people of Maui. It's sad to hear a lot of that stuff. Coming in the next, I think we got, yeah, Hurricane Hillary approaching California. It's expected to reach as a category 3. Get out of here. Tropical storm Hillary made landfall Sunday on Baja California peninsula of Mexico, with catastrophic and life-threatening flooding expected in the region, including across parts of the southwestern U.S. According to the National Hurricane Center, a person drowned Saturday in the Mexican town of Santa Rosalia on the peninsula's eastern coast when a vehicle was swept away in an overflowing stream. Rescue workers managed to save 4 of the people, and Edith Aguilar, uh, Villavicencio, the mayor of Muleye Township. Forecasters warned of life-threatening flooding in areas not known for rainfall and said strong winds might down trees and power lines. California Governor Gavin Newsom on Saturday declared a state of emergency ahead of Hillary's expected landing later Sunday. The storm is expected to enter the history books as the first tropical storm to hit Southern California in 84 years. Interesting fact. Those large canalways or waterways that they have um, put through Los Angeles, those were put there to save the actual city from flooding during massive storms. So now that you know, I mean, Los Angeles, it's there, but I don't think this is going to be I don't think this is going to be an easy storm for California. I feel like a lot of people are not prepared, and my heart goes out to them as well. Um, and yeah, before any of you guys say, "Oh, Malcolm, my heart goes out. What are you doing for these people?" Listen, I already done, you know, I already done donated $1 to the Red Cross. And what else we want me to do? I haven't found any direct organizations to contribute to, but I'm pretty sure in about another day or two, the news is going to announce the Cash App link, or uh, what is Cash App link, or the Zelle link, or they're going to announce the hotline or the website you go to donate. So get off my back. My heart does go out to these people, and when I got $1 or $2 I can donate to helping them, I'll do it. There's a lot going on in the world. Shit, there's a lot going on in here. I got a cat over here. You don't want to sit still. I got a chair that's squeaking. I done put WD-40 and all types of oil on this thing, and it's still squeaking. I'm losing my squeaking mind. What's the next one? Oh, man. And yes, the storm is randomly linked to climate change. Wait, disregard those air quotes. I didn't need the air quotes for climate change. Well, can you use air quotes to accentuate something? Food for thought. Can you use air quotes to accentuate something? Or if not accentuate, to emphasize, not accentuate, emphasize, to emphasize a word. Let's see what else we got on the news here. But yeah, crops drying up, storms, and then the crops become so dry they can just catch fire, or the grass or the weeds. I mean, I see the need why we have to, reduce emissions and try to think more green and be more earth conscious in mind. But yeah, there's a lot we got to do. I say in total we need about 80 billion just to redo our whole infrastructure. And, part of the reason why I'm so pro I wouldn't say, well, no, I'll say it. The reason why I'm so pro of overhaul person, like I believe in overhauling, things after a certain while. You got to do maintenance on the system. The school system, our electrical system, our water, sanitation, plumbing, whatever system, all that stuff falls under. We got to overdo it because, we got power lines that are, arcing off, hitting trees. These droughts are coming in, and, There's a lot of stuff for us to deal with. Uh, Pretty soon they'll have to put the whole National Guard on alert, and yeah, the whole National Guard will just be put on alert for natural disasters. I was talking with my brother about a couple hours ago. He thinks it might be, Russia and China that, covert attacks set to, attack our infrastructure or um, weaken our overall infrastructure through attacks. A lot of stuff going on, man. The world's crazy. We see, we got the homes, the Evergrande bankruptcy, and yeah, it's going to be a lot more with this whole 80 billion loss that they took. I think it's over 80 billion. And yeah, you guys probably heard at the beginning I said 80 billion. Now I said 80 billion. Yeah. Basically they just lost the money it would have cost us to redo our entire like infrastructure for the better. That $4 billion. Actually, wait, is it 4 billion or 4 trillion? Let me see. And yes, people, you're witnessing me fact check myself. So please don't get in the comments and kill me. More of these podcasters and channels need to, I guess you'd say, fact check themselves on a live basis because this is live. Oh, this is a lot. Yeah, it's 11:11. Make a oh damn, it's 11:12. I missed it. I was about to say it's 11:11. Make a wish. Yeah, that was so high school. Actually, no, that was middle school. Now I think, yeah, because um, yeah, that one rapper Wale, he had a whole album, not an album, mixtape, dropped it on 11/11 and all, just for the fact that that whole 11/11 thing became a craze for like a couple months when we were younger. Yeah, all right, let's try and go over the highlights of it. All right, the president's Build Back framework, it will add an average of 1.5 million jobs per year for the next 10 years. I'll give that man his flowers for that. Now, if it goes through, I understand once he signs it into action, it goes down to other people, and then the money may be used for nefarious purposes and strippers and cocaine. I get it. But I give the man his flowers for that. The next thing they're going to do, deliver clean water to all American families and eliminate the nation's lead service lines. I said deliver. Oh man, that's like the worst German accent I could ever come up with. Anyway, currently up to 10 million American households and 400,000 schools and child care centers lack safe drinking water. The bipartisan infrastructure deal will invest 55 billion. Okay, see, that's what I'm talking about. Still, Evergrande lost that. Like they lost that in 2 years. Just going off real estate. So, oh man, that's crazy, man. Because Biden been fighting for this infrastructure bill for a while. Like when he got in office, this was something he was fighting. He was like talking about after like the COVID and all that stuff was going on and trying to get everyone vaccinated. The infrastructure bill was like one of the next things. Then they came with more LGBTQ. Oh man, I'm gonna be real with you guys. It doesn't matter what president we have, Democrat or Republican. They literally just give you a sandwich with a steaming hot turd. They give you a sandwich with a steaming hot turd. They add a little mustard, a little ketchup, a little lettuce, a little tomato, but it's still a turd sandwich. You know, there's some good things in it. There's some good things about it, but yeah, I just said there's some good things about a turd sandwich. Oh man, it's a good thing I'm really not that famous. Otherwise, somebody out there will probably like make a hit piss. Hit, I said hit piss. A hit piece on me, probably on YouTube on how I'm a horrible speaker and I end up tongue tied and mixing up my words a lot. Yeah, I do. I'm new at this. Get off my back. But yeah, they're going to deliver clean water to all American families and eliminate the nation's lead service lines. Uh, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. 10 million American households, 400,000 schools, and child care centers lack safe drinking water. They're going to invest 55 billion to expand access to clean drinking water for households, businesses, schools, and child care centers across the country. From rural towns to struggling cities, the legislation will invest in water infrastructure and eliminate lead. Oh, I said lead service lines. I said lead, it's lead. Okay. Lead service pipes, including in tribal nations and disadvantaged communities that need it most. Black people, I know all the Republicans keep saying, well, look, what has Biden done for the black people? There you go. He's doing something. Well, I mean, he's doing it for all the people. That's another thing I think we have to expect from these presidents. They can't just focus on one specific group. They have to focus on a broad group. That's why it was the LGBTQ, because it's a broad term for so many different things that it's kind of scary sometimes, especially the plus. Be careful what's in the plus. Ensure every American has access to reliable high speed internet. Oh, yeah, filling out job applications. Got to get online. There's a few companies that still do paper. Broadband internet is necessary for Americans to do their jobs, to participate equally in school, learning, healthcare, and to stay connected. Yet, by one definition, more than 30 million Americans live in areas where there is no broadband infrastructure that provide minimally acceptable speeds, a particular problem in rural communities throughout the country. And according to the latest OECD data, among 35 countries studied, the United States has the second highest broadband costs. The bipartisan infrastructure deal will deliver 65 billion to help ensure that every American has access to reliable high-speed internet. 65, 65, 55. Repair repair and rebuild our roads and bridges with a focus on climate change mitigation, resilience, equity, and safety for all users. Oh, I think the sad thing about this is, due to the fact that I'm over here smoking and drinking, I probably won't be able to monetize any of my videos because of that, because advertisers don't really like smokers and drinkers. But I think there's nothing more liberating than being the most anti-commercial podcast in the world. And y'all can hold me to it. If I ever show up with an advertising deal, be like, Malcolm, what happened to being anti-commercial? Hold me to it, because I'm really just doing it for the fun of it. But anyway, let's back to what else. Repair and rebuild our roads and bridges with a focus on climate change, mitigation, resilience, equity, and safety for all users. 1 in 5 miles of highway and major roads and 45,000 bridges are in poor condition. Yeah. Y'all see how long they've been working on Midway Road. Any viewers that are like out of Florida or Fort Pierce, Midway Road is basically the halfway point between Fort Pierce and Port St. Lucie. It's why it's called Midway Road. Well, I'm not sure, but that's why I call it Midway Road in like my head. That's my justification for the name of the road. So Midway Road is the midway point between Port St. Lucie and Fort Pierce. I think they're still working on Midway Road as I sit here right now speaking to you at 11:23 p.m. at night. Speaking of, I need to wrap this up because I need to take my black ass to bed. I got to be up early, and my boss has already like been on my ass about being late. I've kind of been like a pain too, because I'm like, in a way, I know they need me, so I'm like walking around there like Tupac, like doing like this. I know that was stupid, but yeah, I walk around there like Tupac, like, Machiavelli here. I get here when I want. I get it done, and then I leave. I think I'll have to do these podcasts more when I'm drinking. It helps lighten me up a bit. That way I don't feel as bad when I mess up in terms of like the dialogue or speaking. But let me see. They're going to invest 110 billion in the repair and of the repair of our roads and bridges and support major transformational projects. Oh Lord. I hate when they use those vague terms that I don't understand. Improve transportation options for millions of Americans, and reduce greenhouse emissions through the largest investments in public transit. Here come the EV buses. Well, if they ever figure out this whole battery situation, here come the EV buses. Or the solar buses, or yeah, the EV or the solar buses. Okay. America's public transit infrastructure is inadequate, with a multi-billion-dollar repair backlog representing more than 24,000 buses, 5,000 rail cars, 200 stations, and 1,000 miles of track, signals, and power systems in need of replacement. Yeah. I just saw that, what is it, the Bright Line a couple days ago. It was not that fast. I don't know if it slows down as it goes through like city sections, but yeah, it was not that fast. I thought it was going to be more like the, you know, I'll be real. I thought it was going to be more like the Japanese, but that's okay. We'll get it one day. We'll get it one day. $39 billion. Upgrade our nation's airports and ports to strengthen our supply chains and prevent disruptions that have caused inflation. This will improve U.S. competitiveness, create more and better jobs at these hubs, and reduce emissions. They're going to spend. They're going to spend 17 billion on ports and waterway infrastructure. If I'm not mistaken, that's 25 billion on the airports. Oh, here we go. And drive electrification and other low carbon technologies. So pretty much most of money is going to go to the infrastructure, expanding, and improving the infrastructure. Uh, and then they're going to try and switch over to less polluting options of transport. They're going to go into passenger. Okay, here we go. Passenger rail. Okay, here comes a high-speed rail. They're going to put in 66 billion in rail funding to eliminate the Amtrak's maintenance backlog and modernize the Northeast corridor and bring world-class rail service to areas outside the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. All right, that's really nice. This is National Network of Electrical 7.5 billion. Let me go ahead. Sip on this Patron. Got me in the zone. Spitting bars on my way home. Let me stop. I'm not a rapper. Anyway, well, I can't say that. I got a mixtape coming out this year. I'm just bullshit. The name of the mixtape is, well, I don't know what the mixtape is yet. Actually, I don't know what my rapper name is yet. I've been thinking about changing it to Big Mac, like the sandwich. So I'm all about the bread. Yeah. My new rap name is going to be Big Mac. First mixtape, Royale with cheese. If you don't get that joke, watch Pulp Fiction. You'll get the joke. But yeah, that's definitely something I want to do. Like, yeah, new mixtape from Big Mac, Royale with cheese. Get my little James Bond suit on. Get me a big, quarter pounder. That's what a Royale with cheese is, a quarter pounder. If you want over in Europe, like France and certain stuff like that, it's a Royale with cheese because the metric system. But anyway, so yeah, I'm getting my James Bond suit, a quarter pounder with cheese. Just, eat me a quarter pounder in my fancy James Bond suit. I'll probably have to hire, not. Damn. Yeah, it's business, so I got to hire somebody. Might have to write that off on my taxes. Like, hey, I paid her. I need I need to write that off as a business expense. But oh damn, that was so. I'll let it be. That was one of those instant. If you ever hear something that's suspect, just it's unintentional. I just thought about it after I said it. I was like, wait a minute, that was so suspect. But my bad, people. I ain't mean it in an offensive way. But what was I saying? Oh yeah. Back to the EV chargers. Build a national network of electrical vehicle chargers, EVs in. 7.5 billion investment to build out a national network of EV chargers in the United States. So, like the ones you got at Wawa's or those big gas stations in like the big cities. Upgrade our power infrastructure to deliver clean, reliable energy across the country and deploy cutting-edge energy to achieve zero emissions. To achieve a zero emissions future. According to the Department of Energy, power outages cost the U.S. economy up to $70 billion annually. The bipartisan deal wants more than $65 billion investment. 65. Building thousands of miles of new transit lines. It will upgrade our power infrastructure by building thousands of miles of new resilient transmission lines to facilitate the expansion of renewable energies. while lowering costs. See him pull it off. Make our infrastructure resilient against the impacts of climate change, cyber attacks, and extreme weather events. They're investing $50 billion to protect against droughts, heat, floods, and wildfires, in addition to a major investment in weatherization. For those who don't know what weatherization is, weathering is the natural breakdown of things over time due to exposure to wind, rain, extreme heat, extreme cold, yada yada. Go to your science class. If you ain't in college, take a class about science. If you're in high school, you already you got a science class already. Open the textbook, it'll tell you about it. But anyway, in this sense, they're gonna try and address the infrastructure that is mostly affected from this weathering and try to weatherproof it to some degree or reinforce it to withstand the longer treks of weathering, probably like every 50, 80 years. To give like a down to earth example, I guess, on a truck or a crane or an excavator, sometimes after all the rocks and all the gravel and all the digging and all that stuff, the metal gets ate up and pretty dented, scratched, dinged, pinged, scraped, whatever you can think of. So sometimes you need to, shape that metal back up. So like they'll hard face it, basically. And hard facing, you basically grind, prep the metal, get it ready, and usually take like hard facing rod or hard facing wire, depending on how you're doing it. You can do it like MIG welding or stick welding, or like flux core welding, however you want to call it. I think they got a hard facing option for pretty much all the welding processes. Maybe not TIG. I'm not sure about TIG. And you take that rod or wire and you hard face. You basically just weld over the material, and that weld will add reinforcement to the base metal and make it stronger, tougher, increase the hardness of the material so it can stand up and continue to take more of the abuse from, like the example of the excavator, digging into hard rock, gravel, earth, roots and stuff like that. It's a lot of hard physical abuse. So, sometimes you have to restore and treat the metal to bring it back to a usable form. And it's the same way with this weatherization. You're just reinforcing existing infrastructure that's highly affected by weathering, the erosion of things over time due to rain, heat, cold, snow, a lot of natural factors. Let's move on. Deliver the largest investment in tackling legacy pollution in American history by cleaning up Superfund and brownfield sites, reclaiming the abandoned mines, and capping orphaned oil and gas wells. All right. So, aside from the pollution, you guys get the pollution part. The Superfund and brownfield sites, I'm not so sure. Let me, I'm gonna. do a web search on that later. But as for the abandoned mines, the old mines for gold, copper, any precious minerals that we've mined for, a lot of those mines, once they get used up, they just leave them and they're derelict. And in a weird way, when you think about it, we're basically terraforming the earth to the point where it's going to be hollow. So those mines have to be repurposed, and you got to use them for something. You got to do something. And I guess in some ways, if you reinforce them internally, I guess build out some infrastructure internally, you could turn them into shelters or, I guess, bomb shelters. Yeah, a lot of stuff. Who knows? Especially if you got, you can get the concrete and the paneling and stuff. Because once you have the wall support and all that stuff, if you got some like metal sheeting, some concrete and stuff you can run along the sides and bottom, you could add some reinforcement in between the seams, between like the metal walls and stuff like that. Then let me see, capping orphan gas and oil wells. Yeah, there's a few derelict wells still lingering around. That's an environmental problem. Basically, these wells still have some, hazardous material, basically. They're still residual. When you deal with any certain type of material, there's some type of residual left over, whether it's sawdust, metal shavings, like oil on a car, like when you change motor oil, there's always that little black stuff left around, and it's hard to get off sometimes. And as for gas wells, gas, it's still there. There's still lingering trace amounts of it. And especially on a dry, we got wildfires, spreading around. I think they got some in Cincinnati too. I forgot to talk about that. But yeah, you got gas wells still lingering that haven't been capped or sealed off. It's a big explosion waiting to happen. Even if they are derelict, they're still residual. There's still residual gas still lingering because they can't completely purge the system. Because the thing about gas, fluids, and solids can be rendered into a dust, like metal shavings or rock dust, or when you break away like gravel, there's little dust and stuff. But the residual is always left behind. That's just, thing you want to remember. A lot of things leave some type of residual material behind. So with gas, those wells have been soaked in that gas, or not soaked, but exposed to that gas for so long where it's like seeped into the walls. There may have been like little pockets where the gas remained. There's just so many different factors. But yeah, they're going to do a cleanup job of all that. Because especially the oil and gas boom in the industrial age, and especially out there in Texas, I think there's some derelict wells still lingering, and in around the Gulf area. Okay, here's Superfund sites are uncontrolled or abandoned sites of properties where hazardous waste or other contamination is located. All right. All right. Brownfield and Superfund sites are deemed as environmentally hazardous due to pollution. All right. So now I get a better understanding of those are. Yeah, there you go. I was fact checking myself live because I thought the infrastructure bill was only $4 billion. But No, this is 21 billion. So in total, we're looking at a 470.5 infrastructure bill if it goes through all the way. Like I said, there is still time for political intrigue and backdoor deals and prostitutes and cocaine. You guys watched House of Cards. It is like that. I don't care what anyone says. It's fake drama. It is really like that in real life. Those are normal people just like us. But let me get off my soapbox for a minute. We covered Maui. We got the hurricane. Rising climates affecting wheat, rice. Let me see. Stock market the stock market ended mixed last week. Energy sector performed the best with increasing energy and fuel prices going up. Y'all don't believe me? Look at your light bill. It's more expensive. And just look at the gas prices. Averages around the country are bouncing back and forth between $3.60 up to $4.25 for regular. The national average was at $3.88 for regular. Despite rising fuel costs, turn the brightness up on this tablet. Despite rising fuel costs, Saudi Arabia and Russia have decreased their output globally, restricting oil and gas sales to a select few allies. U.S. oil production continues with the lowest projected production per day. That's the amount of barrels they're producing per day to hit a low slump of 12,000 per day. Due to rising heat, certain factors have impeded the flow of production among U.S. local refineries. It's hot. It's hot, guys. It's hot. And where was I at before the other day? Oh, yeah. We got the stock market. We covered Evergrande already. Like I was saying, they got an 80 billion loss over the past 2 years. So my bad for what I said, Biden. I thought you only, hooked the brother up 40 billion on the infrastructure bill. Not 40 billion, 4 billion on the infrastructure bill. But you actually looked out, you put a lot more to it. We're going to have to pay all that shit off in taxes, but hey, considered they done spent like 3 trillion during the coronavirus. It would kind of be hard for him to say, well, we don't have the money, but y'all literally just printed the money when we had a whole national crisis. So at least he's going to print the money and try and build and redo the infrastructure that we need. So I give him his props. I'll give him his hand clap, give him his flowers. And by the way, listen, I'm not saying you have to vote for Republican, Democrat, whoever. Vote for who you want to vote for, but let Biden go home and play with his grandkids, please. That man is old. Let Biden go home and play with his grandkids. What I got next on the chat? Yeah, we pretty much covered everything else. While we're talking about gas and fuels and oil, y'all might want to top off y'all tank. I know it's almost midnight. But whenever you watch this, if you haven't topped off your tank for the week, top it off. And if you haven't signed up for a fuel saving program, whether it's Circle K, what I think Walt Murphy's Gas on Okeechobee has one. Well, actually, no, Circle K or Shell. I forget which one exactly, but I know the Murphy on yours one, they got like a fuel saving program. Invest in the fuel savings program. You don't, those few pennies on the dollar will help in the long run, especially when it's time to. I need to moisturize my hair in the morning. I put some oil in it tonight. That's why I'm actually wearing this little throw scarf material. It's just to help keep the oils and stuff off my shirt. There are a few spots I missed, but I'll dab it up in the morning. Make sure I refresh. But all right, folks, that's pretty much all for tonight. I went ahead and pretty much went over everything. Just to recap, the main title of the night: food prices outpace inflation. Currently, we're sitting at 11.5% inflation rate over the past 2 years. With food, we're looking at 16% price increase over the past 2 years. So it is official. Food has outpaced the inflation rate. And our inflation rate already passed the average inflation rate. So if you don't believe me now, please, at some point you will. Damn, I had something. See, this is why you probably shouldn't smoke and podcast at the same time. But please, if you don't believe me now, eventually you will. This inflation, these prices are not going down. I'm not saying you gotta go to school. I ain't saying you gotta, start selling drugs or doing everything, all this extra stuff. But look into coupons, fuel savings plan, however you can save money or make an extra dollar legally, put that in there legally. You might want to look into it because the way things are going right now, it might be hard. And, we don't know what might happen. The alien mothership might crash down and it might be go time. So, yeah, save your money as best as you know how, pinch pennies if you have to, especially, for the people out there with kids. I know it's hard. They ain't cheap. Kids can be expensive. Boom. Oh, well, I got you guys. Let me go ahead and play some of the while I got you guys, let me play some of this up. Oh. For those at home, damn, man, I could be drinking that Patron like 2 ice cubes. Oh, there's a line right here. You pour to that line. The ice cubes will balance it out just enough to where you can slowly sip it bit by bit. Now you can't babysit it because the ice will melt too fast, and it'll ruin the taste of the tequila. It'll be watered down. But when you get it just right, and I mean it fresh, like as soon as the tequila hits the rocks or the ice, however you want to call it, I'm not familiar with bartender lingo. Soon as That's just my preference. As soon as the tequila hits the rocks and pours, as soon as it touches that line, I'm good. Swish it around. I don't have no ice in this one. Well, I got like two little small chunks, so it ain't I can't make them, you no real noise. But you get the idea. Swish it, give it about 30 seconds, take a sip. You want to give it 30 seconds to, let it chill. And, in my opinion, it makes it a lot smoother. You can kind of taste the agave, flavor more without the burn. It kind of takes the edge off. Well, what is it? Oh yeah. Let me pull up this. I got a little snippet. It ain't nothing. I mean, I'm still working on it. It's just a rough. If the audio was off on that, my bad. I had to turn my mic up a little bit. Somehow it went down. But you know, play that back one more time. I'm really just trying to drag it out till 12. I done lasted this long on the pod. Might as well end it off at 12. Even though I do need to take my black ass to bed. I gotta be up for work. Gotta get up at like 3:45. You can't get up at 3:45. You should have been in bed. Yeah, I know. I took a nap earlier and it kind of like just threw off my whole sleep schedule. But and I pulled it. Okay, so I well, y'all probably can't hear it. My mic isn't that good. But my cat is behind me right now and I can faintly hear him snoring and it's adorable. When I upgrade my mic, I'm gonna have to like well nah, I can't do that. I don't want to upgrade my mic too much. I live in the hood. So at some point, you're gonna hear gunshots, cars riding by, bumping Lil Boosie or some random rapper that I've never heard of before. Or yeah, or depending on how good it is. I heard some of these mics you could pick up like outside conversations. So hell, I might pick up my dad talking to somebody else about mangoes. Oh man, it'll be the Mango podcast at that point. Uh, but thanks for hanging with your boy. It's been good talking to you guys. Go ahead, top off your tanks this week. My heart's, all my hearts, all my hearts from viewers and me go out to the people of Maui, people of California, and the people in it's Connecticut, wherever the other wildfires are going on. I need to do some research on that too as well. All the prayers and support go out to those people. Whenever I do find like some type of link or they come out with a hotline or website to, send money, I'll try and help and support them when I can. I got a lot going on like everyone else. But thank you guys for tuning in. Good night. And thank you for hanging in the middle with Malcolm. Peace, love, happiness.